Welcome in to the Wit Grit Podcast. Sad to say that we are down one of our comrades this week. Elliot is off, keeping the people safe, Sean.
Is that right? Is that why he's not here?
Well, he's off. He's off helping people contact other people to get safe.
Okay.
It has something to do with the cold weather in the South. And I definitely remember he said the word safe. You think he's robbing a bank?
Oh, maybe.
I can't think of anything else with the word safe, but he's busy and he didn't make it tonight.
Welcome to Wit and Grit, where Ian, Sean, and Elliot break down sports betting, pop culture, or whatever's on their minds. The Wit and Grit Podcast.
Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. We're here to share our sports betting picks, insights, and strategies, but this is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors or professional handicappers, and there are no guarantees in betting. Wager responsibly, follow the laws in your area, and remember, bet at your own risk. If you need help, visit ncpgambling.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now let's get into it. Last week, let's go ahead and celebrate for Elliot. He believes in the team from D.C., and they got it done outright. Sean, much to your surprise, what is your reaction? I would like you to unmute yourself for that reaction, though.
Fair enough. I don't think my dogs would have been our primary audience there. No, that was crazy. I definitely didn't see that coming, obviously, because one of my best bets was Detroit to cover. They didn't even win. So Jaden Daniels, man, that's crazy. I guess we were kind of on the right track about the 2021 Bengals and the Commanders kind of following that path and following in their footsteps there. But no, I mean, it was rough to watch the Lions, kind of realize what was happening as that game was ending and see Campbell's reaction and everything. And it's just so hard to get to that point in the NFL and to win these games. And with salary caps, the windows are closing faster and faster. So I definitely feel for the team and the fans and everything. And, I was rooting for him. But likewise, the Commanders are an awesome feel-good story this season too. Another team that's easy to root for here. So I definitely want to give them their flowers as well.
The Commanders are the team that we cover in my local market. My market's in between NFL markets, so we cover several. We have Panthers and Commanders stations, but it's pretty exciting, like just seeing the background on getting the conference championship playing on air and certain stipulations and things like that I can't really get into here. But the Commanders have quite a lot of momentum that we're going to get into in a second, but let's finish the review of my bets as well. So you went 1-1. You did not catch that 16-year falling knife I was warning you about.
Yeah, and I honestly, if you told me I was going to miss that bet and one of those teams was going to let me down, I would have picked the Chiefs. I would have felt more confident in the Lions.
Fun fact, Mahomes is now 7-0 in the divisional round. He doesn't lose there.
I know actually a lot of people maybe were very understandably very upset with Mahomes for that last second safety. I was lucky enough that I bet this a day or two early and got that line when it was 8.5. So that didn't
game ends on 9.
Yeah. So that didn't cost me there. I believe at kickoff or day of it was 9.5, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that cost a lot of people a bet.
Well, and if you remember, my bets on KC were to tease it down because I was afraid of that number exactly for that kind of thing. They'll let you mess around a little bit late. And perfect segue to what I was going to say is getting the line early is such a big difference from just putting it in on Sunday. Here's why. He covered his Chiefs bet because we do this show midweek, and the number did not move to 9.5 yet. My Eagles bet was -6 when I gave it on the show. When I made it, it was -6. Where does the game end? On 6. That was at 7.5 at some books. 7.
And I had a
on
day
Sunday.
of at 7. Yeah.
See,
I
and you learned a lesson.
Yep. Yep. It was a lesson learned the hard way, unfortunately, but had one hit and then had to learn the lesson. So I think like you've told me before, if I feel good about a number, just go ahead and lock it in when it's, how I like it.
Yeah, well, okay, don't feel bad. I also went to hammer. I went to hammer the Eagles again because I had a no sweat bet to use.
Okay.
So I did lose on the -7. But it's on a no sweat bet, and I can respin that. So I'm not counting that as a loss yet. We're going to see how I can respin that this week.
Okay, there you go.
But that is the importance. If you have a gut feeling, like that's why, a couple of my buddies, I saw the number for the Bills and the Chiefs was going from 1.5, and I'm like, if you're looking at, the Ravens Bills number when it switched and the Bills are at 1.5, I'm like, this is gonna be at 1 at kickoff. You're going to want some of that cushion in this game, possibly. Like, I teased the Bills up. I was comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to lose by a touchdown.
No.
Let's go over some opening stats before we get straight in. Well, it's every stat really is kind of get into every game, so I didn't really put it by game. Let's just do it by stat. How about that?
Sure.
And I'm going to give you the option once we get done talking about a set of stats, if you want to just tell me that you think that's irrelevant, like if it's not. Maybe it's not a correlation.
Okay.
Because just because a stat is interesting doesn't mean it's really important.
Fair.
Commanders' historic odds and conference championship trends. How about that? Last week, we discovered the 3 teams that were 150 to 1 or longer to make the divisional round. Now the Commanders are the 4th team at 150 to 1 or longer to reach the conference championship. The other 3 teams, as you alluded to, we touched on last week. 1999 Rams, Super Bowl champions. 2021 Bengals, lost in the Super Bowl. 1979 Buccaneers, lost in the conference championship. So here's the discussion and the question I want to pose to you. When you get on ESPN, when you go to some of these more buzzworthy sites, it's all about framing, right? Like, when you go to some, I'm not going to name any specific outlets, but let's just say you go to outlet A and you hear that Lamar Jackson can't get it done in the playoffs. He's had too many chances. Then you go to outlet B and you see that he's got about the same playoff trajectory as Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning didn't win until he was 30.
Right.
So it's all about framing, right? Lamar Jackson's almost a 3-time MVP who every year people talk about making some drastic change to fix him.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be healthy, and you have to have everything fall your way to win right now. The Commanders seem to be there. So here's my question. Will the Commanders follow history and make the Super Bowl, or will they be the first 150 to 1 team in this position since 1979 to fall in the conference championship? Because you can look at it 2 ways. Like 2021, they at least made it to the Super Bowl. 1999, they won it. 79, they didn't even make it. So they'd be the first team of destiny to be in this position and fall short since 1980,
But it's a very small sample size because teams never get here in this way, in this fashion.
But we just talked about how the Chiefs line pushed for a lot of people or didn't cover, how the Eagles line pushed, the books, no. So the only reason I think there might be some correlation is if you get 150 to 1 and you make it this far, there must be something in common. Something's breaking your way. But
maybe I don't know if I trust that enough to make.
Do you think they're going to win right now? Like who? But let's say now, who do you think is going to win the game right now? And we'll talk at the end of the pod and see if it changes.
I'm leaning Philly.
I'm all in on Philly. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're basically saying Commanders are going to be the first team in this position to fall, and I think it's got a lot to do with Cosme, that guard, going down. Last game.
That's going to be huge for sure. And just they've been here before. Playoff experience is huge. I know Washington's kind of disproving that right now, but otherwise the teams that are left have all been here several times, like recently. So I mean, that's why you had a team like Detroit stumble and fall. I mean, they were here last year and the year before, but they're still they're new in terms of like dominant, every season this team's going to make the playoffs sort of discussions. They're still new to that table.
Right.
So I think playoff experience matters so much, man. And I think that the home field matters. Saquon Barkley matters. So I like Philly here. Yeah.
One note I want to take, I hear some people saying Saquon Barkley is the best free agent acquisition of all time. I must reiterate, it's Peyton Manning. It's not close. It's not close.
Being
Tim
like
Tebow going from
Tim
Tebow to a record-setting historic offense in 2013 from 2011 with a guy who had neck surgery.
Yep. I remember everyone was like courting him.
Saquon is the most successful free agent running back we've seen in so long. It's kind of like you've been digging for gold and you finally found it again. You've probably seen bigger or shinier pieces out there, but this is the best you've seen in a while.
He's so good, dude. Like some of these runs where he just like bursts into the open field, it's unreal.
Any concerns about Jalen Hurts?
Like me or injury wise?
Injury wise. So I've heard some people saying things like he didn't look right in that interview. Like he was kind of definitely drugged up, and he's not a guy that usually gets drugged up. So,
well, he wouldn't if the post game when he was still on the field with Saquon, you mean?
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't even answer the question.
Yeah, he just was like talking in circles. He looked like he was way too happy for a guy that's wearing a knee brace and had to come out the medical tent to finish.
She kept asking like, so like, are you hurt? Like, is it gonna affect next week? And he was like, I finished the game today. It's like, okay.
Let me preface this with, if it's within the rules, and I've already made it this successfully into the NFL refusing painkillers, I think the NFC Championship's a good reason to try. Yeah. Maybe that's the step where it's like, you don't need to feel pain. Because like the Action Network podcast with the favorites, they mentioned this to give them credit. They were talking about, remember the game Deshaun Watson actually balled out in? It was when he got hurt with his shoulder and they had to inject him with something. So he actually went out there and played worry-free and he was balling out. And they were like, look at this guy. And then it was like the next day, it's like out for a year. Like broken now. Drugs were one day reprieve. So I don't know. There's something there. And I've never really looked into how much can you legally drug up in a game.
I have no clue.
You can't take steroids, but do they test you right after the game to see if you were just up?
I don't know. I think they can randomly test whenever they feel like.
Do you remember Percy Harvin gave an interview a long time ago? I apologize. I cannot remember the outlet it was on, but it felt like he was in a dark room playing pool. And and Percy Harvin said he was high every time he got on the field. I
remember that like storyline, yeah.
Because of the pain he was in, he said he was high every time he got on the field. And I don't think the NFL should care.
I mean, look at Ricky Williams. Like that's
Ricky Williams. Yeah, he like retired over it, right? He was
he was like the king of the backfield for every team. He was. I mean, the Saints, the Dolphins. He was great on the Ravens, even in limited exposure. Like, yeah, if it works.
Ricky Williams got treated well everywhere he went. Yeah. All right. Well, before we get into some good trends, more trends on the games, let's talk about some of the storylines from the NFL.
Let's do it.
Which coach you want to talk about first?
I don't know. There was one that just kind of got blown out in the playoffs at home to a rookie quarterback that just got a new job.
Do you think there's anything to the idea that the Lions may have lost that game because both coordinators had one foot out the door and they kind of underestimated the Commanders?
That would be rough, man. That would be really rough to check out on your team who's 2 games away from something that this whole city has been dreaming of for their entire life. That would be kind of not cool.
Listen to this, though. Think about it from his perspective. Let's talk about Ben Johnson for one side. The Athletic is reporting that the Raiders were offering the most money. The Jaguars were offering something special of their own. the Bears didn't necessarily have the best offer because he had originally wanted to kind of create his own office situation, have full control. The Bears already have a president, they have a GM, everything like that. So he decided to go with the Bears because of Caleb Williams, which is, he's an offensive guy. He knows he's not going to get paid if the offense is bad. So go where you can keep your job. But Diana Rossini from The Athletic was also reporting that she said that Ben Johnson wanted the Bears job last year, but it never became available. They kept Eberflus. So that's why he kind of stayed in Detroit. So it's kind of weird to want so badly to go to a division rival and stay for a whole nother year.
Yeah.
And then it's you're finally getting that opportunity and you're coming off a bye and you got to take on this team that has one playoff game of experience together in 20 years for anyone that's been on that roster together, but we saw it with the Trends. The Trends kind of saw it coming, right? We said that both these favorites aren't going to win. So maybe it just looks worse because the offensive and defensive coordinator both left.
Maybe. It could be, but I don't know.
How does it look to you? Both your coordinators leave right after you blow a really big game your team was hugely favored in. You're a fan. How do you feel?
Mm-hmm. Not good, honestly. Had such a good thing going, and we're that close to what we've been, reaching for. Why are we blowing it up now? No, I don't.
The media all year, everybody's been saying that. They've been going, this is the perfect situation. They kept their offensive coordinator. They kept their defensive coordinator. Continuity. This team's unstoppable. I don't know if they were reading their press clippings or not, but they were stoppable. Yeah.
And it was Jared Goff and turnovers, man. For as amazing as he was, 95% of the season, when Jared Goff's bad, he is the type of bad that costs you games, in big ways.
I heard somebody say that I need to start writing down some of these sources. I've been listening to so much stuff lately. Yeah. I was ill within the last week, so I was sitting around doing a lot of nothing for a little bit.
A lot of studying, you mean?
But Jared Goff losing in the playoffs. Is this what Sean McVay didn't like? He felt like he drew up a good enough plan and Goff just couldn't handle the pressure in the big moments. So he made this. Then
again,
that's got to be
also got booted.
Outside of the Deshaun Watson deal and I guess the Russell Wilson deal, maybe. But for some reason, to me, that one doesn't feel like they had some success with Russ. It wasn't a complete failure like Watson.
It's playoffs. They're a playoff team.
Well, they not with Russ, without him, with his dead cap. But I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, with Jared Goff, making that monumental trade for Stafford. That's got to be one of the biggest trades in the past couple years.
Yeah.
Easily. It completely reshaped the Lions to be a number one seed and to have these rich franchise problems. They've got high class problems now. They lose coordinators to head coaching jobs. They have with Aaron Glenn getting a head coaching job for the Jets, the next one we'll talk about, which I know you'll love. They should get a compensatory 3rd round pick because it's a minority head coach hire.
Right.
So how do you feel about a former Jets player getting what he made no secret about? Every outlet said sources close to Aaron Glenn say he would definitely take the Jets job if they gave it to him. I don't know the last time I saw that work, but the Jets have been with all the things we've been talking about this year about how he saw Jerry Jeudy's Madden rating, so he didn't trade for him. Woody fired Robert Saleh mid-season, first time they've ever done it. It made the team so much worse. Everything's been terrible. So I think the idea that somebody who was competing in the divisional round wanted to be there might have had something to do with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I've read from some people that they think that they're trying to get the next Dan Campbell. I've seen a couple headlines say that the next Dan Campbell. He was Dan Campbell's DC. He's also a former player turned coach. You get some of that. You get some of that camaraderie. You get that respect from the players. You've done it. Mike Vrabel also got hired. Seemingly there seems to be a little bit of a move towards players turned coaches. And, there's always been a move in the past 5-10 10 years for more players turn broadcasters, even if they're not on ESPN or Fox. Like Shannon Sharp took off on YouTube. Things like, I mean, he was also on TV. That didn't hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Got Cat Williams in that Dynamite episode where Cat Williams projected half of this crazy stuff, and everyone's like, yeah,
Right. Dude's onto something.
But it's an interesting move to a player turned coach. So the Jets go with the player turned coach, and the Lions go with the guy that could be Adam Gase, or the guy that could be like a Mike McCarthy. He could be like a Sean Payton, maybe like a Sean McVay, someone who's good at offense and good at being a head coach, or he could be a guy that's in over his skis and should only be running the OC position. So with Detroit's embarrassment of riches, I guess we'll see if the Bears got, I mean, some of the people are reacting like the Bears won the Super Bowl, and it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't. I believe you. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Dolphins fan. You were there when Adam Gase got hired. Everybody was just all over him. Oh,
so
my
excited.
God, Adam Gase. Oh, how did they do it?
No one could wait until that season started.
It's like
oh man,
it happened with the Broncos. Josh McDaniels. McDaniels.
Definitely.
They went 6-0 with Kyle Orton. They beat Bill Belichick at home. Oh, new day in Denver. Shanahan be damned. They've moved on. Everything was so terrible from then on out.
Yeah. It doesn't have a history of working out that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. I mean, but a lot of people would tell you that's not going the best. I like him as a Dolphins fan. I'm still happy with him. I still want him to be the coach, but yeah, a lot of people are saying, hey, maybe hot seat. And that's fair of people to say. So
Kyle Shanahan's
is great.
Lock one in, but his dad was also great, so maybe it gave him confidence.
Yeah.
But if you look at maybe three of the best, like I'm not going to say they're the three best coaches, but they're up there. Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Dan Campbell. Neither has a real focus on one side of the ball or the other. They're just good football coaches.
That's fair.
And that's why every time they're going to lose a playoff game, they're going to have this same problem where all their coordinators are interviewing for jobs somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think the NFL needs to change the rules where you can't hire coaches till after the Super Bowl, no matter what. Make everybody sit on their hands and wait. The NFL loves the information leaking out.
It would all just happen behind the behind closed doors. It would all just be tampering anyway.
I guess that's true. I'm just saying it's like, if you legally, like a lot of these coaches are pretty goody two-shoe to get to this level. Some of them don't step outside that. For instance, Flores with that lawsuit, he could have just.
That's exactly what came to mind.
Yeah, like not everybody's going to just go with the flow if you break the rules.
That's Tom Brady.
If you put the rules in, eventually
that year.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if you Tom Brady got away with so much, and now everyone's really mad at Patrick Mahomes. It's like, same tricks, new magician.
Fine by me, honestly, but that's another topic.
No, it isn't. Okay, I've got one more. Jaden Daniels, historic rookie trend. Daniels is only the second rookie quarterback at 151 longer in the preseason to make the conference championship. Who's the first? Kurt Warner for the 1999 Rams, who technically was a rookie that didn't play in 1998.
Okay, so when he did that, he wasn't literally a rookie, but it was his first time. It was his first season of play at all. Okay.
Right, which makes it even more historical.
Yeah.
Super Bowl betting trends. Since 2008, we've talked about this on the show. The Super Bowl champion has always come from the top 8 in Super Bowl odds entering the playoffs. For the past 11 seasons, the winners come from the top 6. This year's top 6, Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Vikings, You see a team that doesn't belong in that list that isn't? One team that didn't make that list? The Commanders.
Yes. Yep. Nope.
because they're 150-1, obviously. But that's what I'm saying. But the Lions, the Ravens, Vikings already gone. The other three are still there. The odds are stacked against the Commanders in that way. Question one for you, though, Sean. Let me see if you can answer this one. Let me get my bell. Can you hear that?
No. Oh, man. Yes.
If I take it away real quick, it's like a symbol. Can anyone name the last? Anyone. I thought Elliot was going to be here. I wrote this for Elliot to be here.
I like my odds to be the one that gets this.
I think you've got a pretty good chance at getting it. Hold on, let's see.
At least being the one that gets to answer. Ooh.
Hold on, let Elliot say something. He is the one with the most sound effects. Tell me the last team to win the Super Bowl while ranked outside the top 6 in odds entering the playoffs. I've already kind of given you a loose hint in the first tap.
I don't know. I'm going to say the Rams.
No,
then I don't know.
Past 11 seasons, right?
Eagles?
Further. 2012 Ravens.
Okay.
Was that Joe Flacco?
2012?
Yeah.
Actually, maybe.
Yeah, it was. Joe Flacco was kind of young. We'll get to that in a second. I think he comes up again.
Oh.
All right,
tease.
Can you name... Wait, what?
I said a tease.
Yeah, tease. So can you name the last team to win as an underdog in 3 straight playoff games before the Super Bowl? That's what the Commanders are going to have to do. They've been underdogs in every game.
The Bengals.
No.
Dang.
The Bengals were favored in at least one of those games, I believe.
Okay. No.
Given the wild card system in the NFL, your wild card game could be against a weak division opponent,
Yeah.
It is the 2008 Giants.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The 2007 Giants, or like the playoffs that were in 08, or
yeah. It's the Giants that won the Super Bowl.
Got it.
Yeah. That's the
David Tyree
that's the
helmet catch. Brady.
Yeah.
Got it.
2007 season, 08 Super Bowl. Correct.
Got it.
That's the one thing about football that makes it so difficult.
I know.
Like, why did you guys were like, why is the calendar where it is?
And then you've got Madden. Then you've got Madden and college football out here naming their video game like the next year's number. Like this summer, the new college football game is going to come out, and it's going to be called College Football 26 in the summer of 2025.
Yeah. It's like, why is society built around like late December holidays, mid-December holidays, and then as soon as they're done, they're like, all right, change everything, new number, we're done, rip it up, stop relaxing. I know it's cold, but get on with your lives.
It's so cold, man.
We should change spring. Spring should be the beginning. Just like the earth is waking up, we should start a new year.
I wish it was
gone off
spring.
the rails a little bit, though.
That's fine.
Yeah, Elliot's not here.
We typically, run such a tight ship here, so.
That was fun. Okay. So I labeled this just for us because we've been talking about how the Texans are always in the early Saturday playoff spot. Do you think playing on Saturday gives you an advantage playing in the Texans playoff window?
I don't really see how it would. If anything, I would figure that the extra day of rest would benefit the Sunday teams. But I imagine that's
what?
Not.
The Saturday teams play before the Sunday teams, so they're the ones that get the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sunday teams would benefit from the extra day of rest.
No, the Saturday teams will benefit from the extra day of rest because they play Saturday. Then the Sunday
That's
teams
not an
play
extra
the next day. Yes,
not
it
an
is.
extra.
Why are you saying it backwards? What are you talking about? Okay, so the Commanders and Chiefs played Saturday. So they were done playing when the other people played, giving them an extra day of rest.
Okay, but they also had to play a day sooner. They had to play that game a day sooner than the teams.
We're not talking about their odds of winning the game that's over. We're talking about the game that's coming up. You're thinking about it backwards.
I see.
The rest into the championship, the teams that played on Saturday.
Yeah,
since 2003 and
taking
4.
An extra day of prep.
Yes, thank you. You with me now? You're thinking backwards. You got to think about this week.
Well, we were just talking about why are we always looking forward, man? Like, let's,
So since 2003 and 4, there's always been a rest advantage for teams that played Saturday in the divisional round compared to Sunday. Teams playing Saturday before conference championship week are 26-16 straight up. That's the Commanders and the Chiefs. Teams at home are 20-7 straight up. That's the Chiefs. So there's another stat going the other way for the Commanders. If we're looking at these historical trends, we got one saying, okay, we think they're going to be the first team since 1979 not to win, but they've got an extra day of rest. Yeah. Statistically, that puts them ahead. So it's like, I'm making a tally. So, I mean, I didn't think that would matter either, but when I looked it up, I was like, huh. So what do you think of it? What do you think of it now that I laid it out for you, the rest advantage?
That's not going to change like how I view the game. Like I still think that the Eagles are going to take the game.
Okay. All right. Hold on. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's go back to the Chiefs. They're the fourth team to win 2 straight Super Bowls and make the conference championship in the 3rd year.
Super good right now. A dynasty. Undeniable.
The previous 3 teams all lost. The 1994 Cowboys were on the road and lost. They were +7. 1990 49ers were at home and lost. And the 1976 Steelers lost to the Raiders. 49ers and the Steelers were favored. So
yeah,
it's a pretty interesting stat. That one kind of says the Chiefs are going to lose, right? So let's do the Chiefs tally. Okay, so other direction on the Chiefs. They're really good at home, 20-7 straight up. But teams that have been this dominant for 3 years straight, the wagon has fallen off all 3 times anyone's ever gotten close to doing it. That feels like a stronger trend to me than the other one, actually, now that I'm really saying it out loud. Like the 3 times in the 100-year history of this league. Yeah. Because, like, the game has changed, but there's always been years where there's just teams that are leagues above everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 times a team in the 100-year history of the NFL has gotten close to doing what the Chiefs are trying to do by winning a Super Bowl have not done it.
Basically winning 3 out of 4 or appearing in 3 out of 4 is what that stat is saying, right?
No, winning 3 straight.
Winning 3 straight. Just okay. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, they already won 2, so if they win this one, they're 3 straight.
I see what you're okay. Yep.
Yeah. The Bengals were our only reprieve.
The 3-peat.
Don't say it. Question number 3. Hold on, let me see.
That's not working. Okay.
I should just download a bell. It'd be way easier than just trying to.
Or just go like ding. Or that.
Just say ding ding.
It would be better than what you're doing.
But that's what I love watching.
That's also fine.
I just hit the Elliott. Josh Allen is 0-3 straight up and against the spread versus Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Only one quarterback since 1950 is 0-4 or worse versus a single team in the playoffs. Who is it? I'll give you a hint. You definitely know them. They're still playing.
Oh.
Let me read that again. Only one quarterback since 1950 is 0-4 or worse versus a single team in the playoffs. Who is it?
Has it been 4 times? There's no way it's been 4 times. My guess, just to move us along, is the Bengals. Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's lost to a single team 4 times in the playoffs. Four.
That's what I
The
said.
Bengals haven't even. I don't think Joe Burrow's been to the playoffs 4 times, has he?
I think he has, but I don't know if it's the Chiefs that have bounced them every time.
You need to think Green Bay and the 49ers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has never beat. He cannot beat his hometown team.
Right. Yeah. There's like memes about it and everything. Yep.
So Josh Allen, you're like, oh, there's no way he's going to lose 4 times in the playoffs to the Chiefs. Oh, there's no way Josh Allen is going to be in the company of Aaron Rodgers by the end of Sunday? I don't know about that.
Also, Bills are familiar with 4 losses.
Exactly. It's setting up for such an NFL storyline.
Yeah.
4 losses again for Buffalo. Heartbreak as temperatures dropped to single digits in upper state New York.
You're making my heart warm.
Well, we'll talk more about the Bills. I'll make you upset. So I guess that's definitely a trend in favor of, Josh Allen has got to be sweating that, right? I'm going to tell you. So I'll go ahead and put it here. We're already 35 minutes in. I bet the Chiefs. I bet them twice. I don't know what the line's at right now. I don't know if you want to look that up, but we should.
Sure, I can. I was just thinking about something.
That's
Football.
No
I'm picking the Chiefs and the Eagles to win their respective games, but I'm still not sold on who I think is going to win that Super Bowl if that ends up being the Super Bowl. The Chiefs line is 1.5 right now. They're favored by 1.5.
I noticed at least one book, one that I always mention you like to use, but I'm not going to not drop their name for free.
Donkey Kong would probably like them though.
There you go. They like to. They already had on the Virginia book, they had lines for all the possible Super Bowl matchups if you wanted to grab them now before the team gets in. But the thing is,
just the
how
same
much
as
of an
parlay.
advantage? Well, but how much of an advantage are you getting grabbing the number now before somebody could get injured in the conference championship game? So that's why it feels like a trick.
You're just parlaying the 2 games for this weekend is all that number should be. It should be the same exact value as the money line parlays.
Well, we talked about how I did, and if you listen to this podcast, let's write it down. If you listen to this podcast all year, I told you guys about my strategy to put very little money into possible futures to make money, okay? So all I did was, based on that Super Bowl stat of teams that are at least 8-1, or better, winning the Super Bowl, I placed very small bets on every possible matchup exacto. And it pays out really well. For instance, I've got a ticket for the Eagles to beat the Ravens, dead now, paid out plus 9,000.
Whew.
Yes. So let's talk about the ones that we have left because all the dead ones are still in here, which is actually pretty annoying. Chiefs to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. If that comes to fruition, I've got a ticket plus 5,000. And let's find the Eagles ticket. The Eagles beat the Chiefs. I've got a ticket for plus 6,500.
Wow. So that's the Super Bowl you want.
Yeah. I would love to root for the Commanders and the Bills, but I got to follow the money. And the Commanders are ruining my life because this is the first year I've jumped on this trend. And, of course, they come through as 150-1. And I left the Bills out of my equation. So, really, either of those two screw me up because I was looking at making all these bets, months ago when you had to predict it. And I was just like, the Bills aren't going to make it. I just know I don't know how. They're not going to make it. I had the Lions. I had the Ravens, all those teams that were in the top 6 I told you about. And the Vikings I didn't have in there. I didn't believe them either. Some of these were too new. But let's just say, if the Commanders or the Bills make this Super Bowl, I'm going to have to just reevaluate everything. But it is a really small loss. Like, I didn't have to put anything on it to make money at those kind of odds.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Anybody can do math. Yeah. Like, plus 9,000 is like 90-1.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, Bills scoring machine. They're a scoring machine, but struggling against the spread. Teams that are 30-plus points per game in the regular season, struggling against the spread deep in the playoffs. This is a system play. 29% win rate. Fade high-scoring teams late playoff rounds. So, not a very good win rate on that one. Why did I put that in there?
I like you questioning your own stats.
I wrote that and I'm like, why did I put that in there? Oh, it was basically saying some people were trying to say you should fade the Bills because they've been scoring a lot of points. And I was kind of just disproving that. It's like a 29% win rate, very low. There it is. First half over trends. This is interesting. This is a conference championship stat. Okay. First half overs are 13-5 in the last decade. That's 72%. Plus $676 for a $100 better. So will we see another first half over cash this year? Would it be worth just betting the overs for both first half games?
I don't know. I feel like oftentimes games like really open up in the second half.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is in the conference championship over the last decade, it's been the first half.
Yeah.
Because the second half has fallen off in all the conference championship games. They get tight with the adjustments. We know the Bills get tighter at halftime. Josh Allen, second best in the league in the second half, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Over-unders on points always are weird for me because like just fluky things can totally govern that.
Well, if you're a trend better and you want to know about that one, first half over trends for conference championships, you could try to do what we talked about, our 2-leg parlay strategy, if anyone's interested in that, where you just, the books always want to give you a discount on 3 and 4 legs because they want to make their money back. But if you do 2, it's a lot simpler to do math where, depending on the odd numbers, you can't do it with minus 110 bets like this. But if you get certain plus money bets, you can make your money with just one of the legs hitting a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so 2 more systems, and then we'll just get into the games. Good teams on extended rest struggle to cover the spread. That's the system we're talking about. Kansas City Chiefs has a 42% win rate. So they've had extended rest late in the season, and they have not been covering the spread because, as we just talked about with that -9, that puts them in a category that says you need to fade them. But home teams are 20-7 straight up in this situation, and the Chiefs are good at home. So there's so many. Are the Chiefs mortal enough for any of these stats, Sean?
Sounds like money line for the Chiefs is maybe your safe play there.
When I bet the Chiefs earlier this week, that's the reason I did it. The money line was only -125.
Yeah.
And the spread was -115.
Right. That's very similar. Like, I mean, it's you make a little bit more, but I mean, just don't have to worry about it. If they win, you're good.
I put a unit on the spread and a unit on the money line just because of how the payout's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And, if I lose one and make the other, man, that'll be a bummer. I might have to lay off a little bit more on the money line after the show. Or, you know what? I was thinking about doing a teaser. And how much so we both think the Bills will lose.
I do.
How much do you think they'll lose by? Do you think it'll be a heartbreak close? Or I don't know if the Chiefs will blow them out, but they might. It's a championship game.
This game often, it goes to overtime every now and then, and it's usually interesting still in the fourth quarter. Like this particular matchup, Chiefs, Bills, Allen, Mahomes. I don't know. It's their Bills are at +1.5 right now. So if we did, it would be what, +7.5?
Which is what I did last week, which worked out well for me because they ended up winning. So that's why I wouldn't want to tease the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think I would maybe be comfortable with that 7.5.
And then what if we tease the Commanders up? So we think that the Eagles. Do we think the Eagles could blow them out twice? Because the Eagles pushing for me last week just didn't sit well. I think they're going to ink out the victory, but on the off chance they don't, we would
have at 12 points in our corner.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Like I do think Eagles and Chiefs both win, but I kind of like that teaser.
Yeah, see, I had a stat for this. Let me see if I can look it up for you real quick. Because, stalling. Josh Allen in his career has never won consecutive games outright, with both games being listed as an underdog. He's had 15 different opportunities as a dog in consecutive games, and he's never done it, and he's on the road in Arrowhead. That's a fun one.
Yeah. The part that makes me most nervous about this teaser is the possibility that KC does roll Buffalo a little bit. Maybe not even roll. Like 10 points isn't rolling a team, but like, what if they win by 10? Like that's I could see them winning by 10. I don't know.
That's true, but teasing. Well, then a teaser may not be in the cards because teasing the Chiefs through 0. I guess we're buying ourselves more than a field goal. I mean, it's not recommended, but we've never been orthodox, so
it's fair.
We don't have to change our ways now. Let's see what we got here. I love, what's so authentic about this podcast compared to other podcasts? It's the fact that we just give time for the books to load. It's like we're showing you in real time how bad technology is.
That's right.
I wish these would just hurry up and load. And then you get on and they're like, the NFL is not even listed as the sport. Like, oh yeah, why would Ian want to look at that?
I think I like both teams against the spread, both home teams against the spread right now. And that's probably where I'll stay. Philly at -6 and KC at -1.5.
You might have talked me into something crazy. If you do a teaser with the Eagles and the Chiefs, you get the Eagles at even, just they have to win. And you get the Chiefs at +4.5. How does that sound? It breaks the rules.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, but it buys you. We could actually watch the Chiefs lose and still cover. Gives me a little bit more cushion because I'm already, as you're probably going to be if you're not already, we already are going to take the Chiefs money line. So this will give us a way to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy them losing no matter what. If it sank every bet I had, I'm a Broncos fan and I will enjoy the Chiefs losing the championship. I'll watch everything. I don't care if Josh Allen makes sense. He might be drugged up out there like Jalen Hurts was. I'll listen to him the whole. I'm going to record it.
Watch it again.
Watch it again. Live with it. Hang out with it. I'd love for the Chiefs to lose this 3-peat, but I bet with what I think is going to happen, not with what I want. Mitigate your losses. Oh my gosh. So I wonder if there's a Jalen Hurts stat here. No, not really. I feel like, so can you look up injuries? I saw at least one injury I'm going to give an update on. Matt Milano is going to be injured for the, for the Bills defense. And he was getting a lot of action last week before he left that game injured. I don't know if he's out yet, but I saw the update for today and he is on the injury report. Limited in practice with hamstring soreness. So he might play. Safety Taylor Rapp, hip, won't practice day to day. Cornerback Christian Benford remains in concussion protocol, but will be limited in practice. Key progress. So for the Bills, that's some of the injuries. Because the key to this game looks to me like, you watched it. Who did the Ravens really move the ball with outside of Derrick Henry?
I did not watch it. I was at the show.
That's right. And you told me that. All right.
on the show.
Where is Elliott? Where is Elliott? This is what he's for.
Yeah.
You had to take the one game off I'm talking about. He told you about it. And then he had to go save safes or something. I think he's helping a safe. I can't remember what he's doing.
So he's protecting a bank?
He's fighting a storm with a magic wand.
Fighting a storm.
I don't remember what he's doing, but it's something to do with a storm-related delay.
Okay, and a safe. Interesting. The plot thickens.
Mm-hmm. Mysterious. Hopefully we're not going to be featured on a true crime podcast when they figure it out.
Yeah. Be good for our numbers, though.
So anyway, the Ravens. Move the ball in the Bills at will with Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews had that infamous 2-point conversion drop.
I did see that.
Somebody made the point that Lamar Jackson could have put that ball somewhere better, and he's not wrong. Mark Andrews is clearly reaching for his shoelaces when he falls, and he's wide the heck open. Like, he's wide open.
Nice self-edit there.
Like, you just gotta... I mean, he was so open, and it's like, Lamar... Like, it's like you had a 10-point question in school with a bonus, and you wrote something so terrible on your bonus question that the teacher now thinks you must have cheated to get the other answers right. That's how bad that pass was.
That sounds like a personal experience.
I don't want to talk about school right now. But you know what I'm saying? It's a weird analogy, but that's how it feels. It's like, why did he do that? Just take 1 second and just hit him at the numbers. There was no one coming for the ball. Throw it above his shoulder. Whatever happened to a goal line fade?
Classic.
Anyway, that's why we didn't bet on him. We didn't think Lamar was going to get by, and I don't think Josh Allen is going to slay the Chiefs. I think because the people want it doesn't make it so. And the sports books have finally fattened the Commanders up into this nice public hog that everyone believes in. I mean, they believe in.
They're a fun team. They've definitely got the public behind them. Them in Buffalo.
It's insane.
I know.
So, I mean, any player props you're looking at?
Not anything just yet. I'm going to do a little more studying between now and Sunday. One thing I do kind of like and actually already put in just because of how low the numbers are the Noah Gray props for the Chiefs.
You think Travis Kelce, after going off for like 117 yards in the first half, is going to give away some of that?
Listen, he's over 1.5 receptions, over 12.5 yards.
What do you get last week?
I've been watching. I mean, not like intentionally like sitting down, tuning into the Chiefs, but I've just seen a lot of. They've been on TV a lot. So Noah Gray is getting a lot of work. I mean, I know we are aware that Kelce is kind of that player that does the whole NBA thing of get rest and then take it seriously in the playoffs. We literally just saw it. But even so, Mahomes is developing a bit of a rapport with Noah Gray. There's up and coming tight ends in the league. I would call Isaiah Likely that, but he's been coming up for a couple years. Noah Gray, though, is definitely one that people know who he is, especially fantasy people, but like he's going to become a bigger and bigger deal. He is going to fill those shoes as best he can. No one can replace Kelce, but that's going to be next man up.
But we've been talking about how Travis Kelce goes off in the playoffs. That's why I bet is. So listen to this. Noah Gray last week, 3 for 13.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, 5 for 45. Travis Kelce, 7 for 117. If Kelce is going 16 yards per catch, why is Noah Gray going to need a ball? That's one thing I'm worried about is because I know that Kelce and Mahomes have that connection where when they go to the playoffs, they
that's
change.
Automatic.
They are not the same offense from the regular season at all. They used to, like in the regular season, they run the ball, play tough defense, use a lot of different weapons, try a lot of different things.
Yeah,
but
Saturday morning.
They just go straight on what works. They go best hits. We are not playing the new album.
Saturday morning, I actually used the tactic that you taught me and did I built a ladder. Is that the right thing? I built a ladder for Travis Kelce that I made some solid money on because I started on 50 and then I did a little bit on 60, a little bit on 80, and a little bit on 100, and he got 117. So I was real happy.
With the Buffalo Bills this week, let's do it again. The numbers might be up, but it's Kelce ladder. It's the same thing. What is his over?
I can do a Kelce ladder. I can watch a Kelce ladder happen. It's gonna happen.
Okay, stop. What is his reception number?
You look it up.
Without Elliot here, we have the same reaction time. We keep almost talking at the same time.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I saw you already looking it up. I was like, I'm not gonna be quicker than him to the draw of this one.
I'm already on the app. Yeah. Okay.
My phone's in locked mode, and it does that annoying thing all the time where it's like you try to put your thumbprint in, but it just tries to open up the virtual wallet. And I'm like, why do you always think I don't use the virtual wallet? Why do you think I'm changing my mind now?
So his receptions over under, and we can look at how the ladder would look too, but just the over under yards first. Kelce's over under receptions is 6.5. His over under yards for receiving is 69.5. So they're saying 7 for 70 is what he needs to hit. If we were to do the ladder for receiving yards, it doesn't start. 50 would be it's minus 310 at 50. That's where it starts. Anything lower is not worth your time or money. And then 60 minus 185, 70 minus 115, 80 plus 135, and it keeps climbing. If we do 120, that's plus 500.
See, people keep saying, what do they say? The Bills are not big enough at the linebacker position. That's why Derrick Henry ran all over them. If the Ravens had gotten Derrick Henry going a little bit quicker, they might have beat the Bills last week.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have not forgotten it. There's a reason Travis Kelce doesn't play as much or as hard in the regular season to now. It's because they're 15-2 with him giving half his effort.
And they're great at designing routes for him to just get open, and then he's going to catch it, and then he's going to get yards after catch. Like, I think if we do the latter, which I'm down for, I would do the yards rather than the receptions. The receptions don't start to really pay out until 6, and even then, like 8+ is only plus 140. Like
I think we do the yards. I think we do the
Yeah.
yards because the Bills are going. If he just gets one good catch, we can
Yeah.
get all the yards.
Yep, and he's a big play tight end. He's a possession tight end, but he's a big play tight end as well. So, yeah, we can do that. We can build that up. Do you want to do that? Like, are we gonna go live on Sunday?
I think we could try to go live on Sunday. I think we go live a little bit later, maybe.
Okay. Well, then we can maybe
Because
build it
games
back
don't start till
to
3
about.
Eastern.
Or do we take our own advice and build it out now and just say, like, full unit on
Well, if you're
60 and then like halves and quarters all the way up?
that's an interesting one. I need to figure out. I want to do it off of here because I'm going to shop around and figure out my
Okay.
unit is. But we go ahead and let's give it out now. You've given preliminary numbers. 60
Yeah,
and
I
up.
mean-
Travis Kelce yards. Bet the ladder. Bet up as far as
Yeah.
you want. We wouldn't go past
I would-
125.
It maxes at 140, which is a payout of plus 1,200. I mean, maybe
If
like a
they-
10th unit.
If they go to overtime, that's not unforeseen.
That's
And you
very
just said
true.
that that
Actually.
happens
That's
a
a
lot.
really good point. That's a really good point on overtime.
So what you want to do is when you bet the ladder, if people aren't familiar, why do these guys keep saying a ladder? Like I don't have a ladder sound effect. I've just got the hammer. But
What would a ladder sound effect be?
I was like, just a ladder opening, I guess. One of those ladders. I don't know. Like one of the ones that folds open like a step
I
ladder.
want a ladder sound effect.
I don't know what happened. Excuse me, Ace Hardware. Can you help me?
Oh man, sound design must be difficult. Anyway,
But you bet the ladder. You want to take the number that's the closest to like minus 110, minus 125. Sean's being generous. I wouldn't go below minus 200 on a regular bet. It has to be. And every time I do go that low, I've been burned. Like I took a Javonte Williams bet earlier this year at minus 190, and he didn't do it. So honestly, under minus 130, I'm out.
okay,
But-
so then you would start at 70. 70
Right.
plus is minus 115, which
So
is, I
70
mean, they
plus
think
is-
they're over under 69.5. So that's where they're starting to say the line is.
So I'd put a full unit on 70, and then you would go up. And as it gets less likely, you decrease the amount you put on it. So,
Yep.
maybe
Maybe
0.2 of a unit, 0.4. You can use your calculator if you want, if you're getting confused based on what your unit size is, but try to make it a round number.
I think what I did for Kelsey, I think I did like a 5-step and I did a full unit. And then on my way up, half, quarter, 10th, something like that.
Yeah,
And they all
it's
hit.
because, well, you think it's a big thing. And then you can also, you're also betting Noah Gray independently. So for some reason, something happens to Kelsey or something like that, you've got the guy that's going to get all the volume and numbers. So it's almost like a cushion bet.
Fair. Yep.
That's an interesting angle. I think,
Yeah.
I like that. And I like, and let's go ahead and make the teaser an official bet too. I already put it in. I put a full unit. I
Which?
cheese the Eagles down to even and the Chiefs through 0 to plus 4.5. After I scalded you last week for not listening to my 16-year stat, I'm breaking a teaser rule, but Action Network Simon Hunter, I heard him say, don't follow the teaser rule in the playoffs. It's the playoffs, baby. So
It's the playoffs, baby.
part of
so
that
that
I
is-
may have added. I don't think he said baby.
Eagles, Chiefs, teaser to pay out minus 120. Is that correct?
Yep. On the
All
book
right.
we take it on. You should try to get better than minus 130 on any book you're doing a teaser on. I think that's why Ellie gets discouraged because in Florida, he's kind of limited on his number. I'm
see.
sure he's not getting minus 120 because the book
Yeah.
we like to use, that the only book we can find it at, he doesn't have there.
No.
So, yeah, sorry to be boring, but me and Sean are both on the favorites. We're hoping for my tickets to hit, his tickets to hit. And we will be upset if America has a great time and watches Buffalo and the Washington win. We won't enjoy that. Please, the Commanders need to show us that it was important that they lost that guard because, man, if Jalen Hurts, what if we get news? I'm definitely, all right, we'll do this before we end. What are you more confident in? So last week you were on the Lions and the Chiefs, and you said it went the other way than what you thought. You thought the Lions would definitely cover, and the
I
Chiefs
was
may act
worried
upset
about the
it,
Chiefs. Yep.
which makes sense. The Texans had just been to the playoffs the year before. They had won at least a game both years. Every time they put this unit together, they were competing.
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders were brand new. Now, how do you feel?
In terms of which team I'm more confident in, Eagles or Chiefs?
Yeah, like let's say you weren't believing in them equally, and you were going to back like maybe 2 units on one of them and 1 unit on the other. Just hypothetically, just like what is your confidence in which team that's going to win?
It's got to be the Eagles, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, playoff experience. I'm more confident in the experience on that Eagles roster to overcome the lack of experience on that Commanders roster, whereas Josh Allen and the Bills are here all the time. I feel like they're in the AFC Championship just as much as Mahomes and the Chiefs. So that's the one, in my opinion, that could go either way, whereas I do like the Eagles more confidently against the Commanders.
Well, Nick Sirianni at home, too. He's been good in the spot.
Yeah. Also, Saquon, I can't say his name enough. Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley. Thank you for the fantasy championship.
Like, if they just did they need to do an award that's like QB of the year or whatever they want to call it. I don't know. And then let MVP be anyone else, any non-QB player, because it would hands down be Barkley.
Has any non-quarterback won since Adrian Peterson?
I don't think so. I think it's the last one. And I think that's always going to be how it goes, man. Like, they just there needs to be, I don't know, what do they want to name it? A Jim Kelly award. I don't know, man. Like some legendary quarterback, name it after him. Like,
when you look at Adrian Peterson's career, I think he might've been a robot, man. He did not stop. He wasn't Frank Gore old, but man,
he was still playing like 2 years ago.
Yeah, like he just quit. And it's like, you've been playing since my video games had you as a block. You were a block.
Yeah. He was like 7 pixels in purple.
What Miami team was Frank Gore on? Was it in the 90s or the early 2000s? 03? The 03
Frank
Miami
Gore?
Hurricanes?
Oh, the Hurricane. I was like, what?
The Hurricanes, not the Dolphins.
Yeah, I was very confused. It was back there.
And Frank Gore was like signing with the Colts around the time Josh McDaniels changed his mind mid-flight to the Colts head coaching job, which was just wild that anyone else gave him a job after that kind of wild nonsense. Yeah. Mid-flight, he's like, nah, I'm going to go back to New England. I mean, after we land, but I'm not going where we're going right now. What is that? Oh, man. This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The opinions, analysis, and betting discussions shared on this show are those of the host and do not constitute financial or gambling advice. We are not professional handicappers or financial advisors, and all wagers placed are at your own risk. Sports betting laws vary by state. Listeners should ensure they comply with all local, state, and federal regulations before placing any bets. Our hosts are based in Virginia, North Carolina, and sometimes Florida. While we strive to provide accurate and relevant information, betting rules and restrictions may differ in your area. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling addiction, please seek help. Resources are available at ncpgambling.org or by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Remember, bet responsibly, stay within your limits, and enjoy the game. Never let the betting stress you out. Pocket change, stuff you can spare. And remember, if you've got a problem and you can't stop, there are freeze tools available on all the apps. So you can put in a freeze, and once you sign up, you can't just go back in a day and say, I changed my mind. You're locked out for 30 days. So that's it. We're both on the favorites. We want a boring Super Bowl. We want a repeat, but not our most recent repeat. And we've got the Travis Kelce ladder, and we've got the teaser, and we didn't disagree about anything.
That's right. It was a smooth episode. Maybe not the most like exhilarating or thrilling, but smooth.
Sorry, we can't be first take and manifest arguments for everybody, but it's like 2 games, and I'm glad we agree. It's refreshing. I feel like my blood pressure is a little bit lower than usual.
Agreed.
I'm usually yelling about stats by now, and I feel like I'm just a little bit more calm, but
it's nice.
Yeah. So, all right. Hopefully all those plays will hit. Stay tuned to Hammered Shark on all the socials you can find us on. We'll be updating when we will be going live. We'll be going live Sunday morning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Tell us which one you like more. Send us a comment somewhere. We'll see it. Tell us which one you like more. We don't really get to experience the viewing part because we're always on.
Yeah, it's fact. We'd love to hear what you think.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.